Hi to all my fellow fashionistas, it's Nicole, and I am a fashion consultant for both women executives and pageant contestants. And in today's episode, I'm going to be covering my favorite looks from the Miss Cosmo 2025 prelims, and these looks are in no particular order. And if you are preparing for a pageant, please make sure to check out the link in my bio for styling services that will benefit you in your upcoming pageant, saving you time and money. So without further ado, here go the looks. First up is Zimbabwe. When she stepped on stage, the color instantly caught my eye. It was a beautiful, vibrant royal blue, and it was enhanced by the beading all throughout the gown. And I really loved the 3D neckline. And since it was a very in-your-face focal point for her outfit, it was very appropriate that she had her hair up in an updo, so that way all the attention was on the neckline. And the sculpted bodice really helped to enhance her figure. And then it was fringed on the bottom, which helped her every step to look fluid. So that's a tip for you pageant contestants. If you want your steps to look even more fluid, make sure you have a material like fringe or feathers at the bottom of your gown. So next up is Puerto Rico. When she stepped on stage, what instantly caught my eye about this look was how it looked like it was peacock inspired, with the colors, the green and the blues throughout the gown, as well as the design within the gown. It kind of reminded me of feathers, so I'm assuming that this look was inspired by peacocks, but regardless, it was a very standout and unique look, one that I haven't typically seen in pageants. And I love the 3D neckline, how it was high up on one side and off the shoulder on the other side. And the split bodice gave her a really snatched look. It made her midsection look really snatched. A figure flattering tip for you pageant contestants: the split bodice in the center tends to give you more of a snatched look, making you have more of the hourglass figure, making the dress look more flattering on you, FYI. And I also liked just the overall, how she kept her accessories minimal. Now, I feel like given the fact that this was such a dramatic neckline, she probably could have gotten away with wearing her hair up. But either way, it was a very standout and unique look. Next up is the Philippines. This gown had a lot going on, and it all worked together, and it was not overly done. It was a true standout statement dress. And I know it was inspired by a dragon, as that the dragon design was on one side of the off the shoulder sleeve. However, when I first saw it, it kind of reminded me of the ocean and waves, given the color, the blues and the silvers. It just reminded me of the ocean and the waves. And like I said, I know it was inspired by the dragon, and I really liked the story that was interwoven with this piece, how she was able to tell a story and illustrate while still looking chic and fabulous for the evening gown portion. I really like that she had her hair up, given that this was a very dramatic and bold neckline. It really enhanced and made all eyes on the neckline, which really was the focal point for this gown. Next up is Nigeria. This was a very feminine look with the soft pink and how she had the matching train with the ruffles around the arms. Super chic, super feminine, super soft. And the sculpted bodice really enhanced her figure. It gave her an hourglass figure. And I really liked the statement necklace that she paired with this as well. And it wasn't doing too much, given that, yes, the bodice was bejeweled, but it wasn't heavily beaded like some of the gowns we saw. So it was appropriate for her to have on a statement necklace to bring all the colors together within this gown. And I really liked the makeup that she had. It was very soft, much like the gown. It didn't take away from it, it actually enhanced it. And I really liked the soft curls. It went very well with this look. Myanmar. So this gown is a great example of understated impact done right. The clean column silhouette lets the sparkle do the talking, and the ombre effect from the icy silver into the soft lavender photographs beautifully under the Miss Cosmo lighting. And I love how the neckline adds just enough drama without overpowering her. Everything feels intentional and polished, and the beadwork is refined rather than heavy, which allows the gown to move fluidly. as she walks and keeps the focus on her confidence and stage presence. It's not a look at me gown in a loud way, but it's incredibly effective and very competition appropriate. Guyana. This gown was absolutely made for the Miss Cosmo stage, not only because of all the colors that was in it, which also coordinated with the colors on the stage. The structured corseted bodice immediately commanded attention, and to me, my eyes immediately went to her bodice. And with its sculpted lines and crystal detailing, it created a powerful, almost architectural look. And I love how the beading radiates downward. It elongates the body and draws the eye straight through the silhouette, and the color palette is especially striking under stage lighting. It shifts between warm and cool tones, and it sparkles from every angle, and the feathered hem adds movement and drama without overwhelming the design, giving the walk a soft, fluid finish. Overall, this is a gown that balances strength and glamour beautifully, and it absolutely held its own on the prelim stage. So next up is Grease, and this color looked absolutely stunning on her, and I really love the beading. It looked like it was liquid beading, and it shined beautifully on the stage. And instead of enhancing this gown with a boa or a train or an applique like we typically see, she chose to enhance it with gloves that had the jewels that were hanging and attached from the dress to the glove, which was a nice, simple yet effective touch to the gown. And her makeup coordinated perfectly with the red lip that matched the red gown, and the split at the bodice gave her a snatched look. So next was Germany. Now, mind you, this wasn't the best color for her. I felt like it washed her out, but the gown did the speaking all by itself, so it really did compensate for the fact that the color wasn't exactly the most flattering on her. And what made this gown very flattering was how it cinched in her waist, the way that the direction in which the beading was going at the bodice portion really gave her a cinched in waist look. And it was dark, the beads at the bodice were darker than the rest of the beading, really giving her a snatched look. And then I liked the high, heavily bejeweled neckline. It gave her a regal look, and I really like the sleeves. You don't see too many sleeve gowns in pageants, so this really made this a standout look. And I love how she had her hair up in an updo. It was very appropriate given that this is a high neckline gown. And the champagne beads interwoven with the metallic beads really danced beautifully on stage and caught the lighting very well. Next up is El Salvador. And this is a perfect example of how to let your color and the material that your gown is made out of do all the talking and allow you to stand out rather than relying on details like beading, which is common for pageant gowns. It was in a very beautiful, vibrant, it looked like royal blue, which is a very popular color for this pageant, but hers stood out, like I said, due to the fact that it was the color paired with the silk that really caught the lighting very well. And it was beaded, but it wasn't heavily beaded. The beads were placed throughout the gown, but it was very lightly beaded. And then the fact that it had the mesh material that ran vertical down the front of the gown, down the bottom portion of the gown, it really elongated her shape. And I also liked how she paired it with this train. It was also made out of silk, and it looked like it was tulle at the bottom, ruffled tulle at the bottom, that really enhanced the gown and didn't take away from it at all. And she seemed to walk with ease and confidence in this gown, giving her fluidity in her movement. Ecuador. This gown is pure pageant glamour. It's a rich gold base and immediately reads regal. And the intricate beadwork, especially with those pops of blue, creates a striking, almost jewel-encrusted effect under the lights. And I love how the illusion neckline and sculpted bodice give structure while still feeling sensual and elegant. The fringe detailing on the sleeves adds movement with every step, so the gown never feels static on stage. It's bold, unapologetic, and very on brand for a prelims night where you want to be remembered. And last but certainly not least is China. And this was another beautiful, bold statement gown that was done very tastefully. It wasn't too in your face. It caught your attention, but in the right ways. And it was styled beautifully. It was orange, and it was heavily beaded, but not too heavily beaded to the point where she looked like she was stiff when she was walking. That wasn't the case. And it really elongated her frame given the splits at the bodice. And I really love the orange background paired with the blue jewels that were placed throughout the gown. That really caught the lighting well, and the colors coordinated beautifully on her. And I like how she enhanced it with the ruffle boa. It was a contrast of materials that worked great underneath the stage lighting, making this a very tasteful, dramatic, yet chic look. So let me know in the comments, who was your favorite look from the Miss Cosmo 2025 prelims? There were a lot of stunners, and it was really hard for me to narrow it down to who I did. So like I said, let me know who your favorites were. And if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I will talk to you all later. Bye.